There are times I know it can be hard to get up and go. You can always count on those beside you. When you're far from home, it can be hard to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. When you're on that road, you can share your heavy load. Every day can be a new adventure. When you're far from home, it can be scary to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. Leave out to me question.
Hey, welcome back, LUQties. Let me know if my mic sounds weird because my the software I normally use to run it is not wanting to load. So just let me know if I sound weird. But otherwise, happy Monday. This week's episode of the League of Ultimate Questing Battle Axis is episode 94, Bodies. Thanks, Dorky. And it's great to see everyone. Wills, Loose, Dorky, Guillotine. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Because normally I don't use it without running it, so I just wasn't sure. If anyone is joining us for the first time, I usually just kind of chat for the first 5 minutes, give everyone a chance to see the notifications and get in here. And then I play the episode, but stick around afterwards because I'll be back, always happy to chat or answer questions. And otherwise, I'll be listening with you. I haven't listened to this episode yet, and it's always fun to listen to them post-editing, because it's always a little different than it is when we're in there recording them. And for me personally, especially because when we're actually recording, a lot of my focus and attention goes to thinking about what the next thing I'm going to do or say is, and not necessarily getting to listen as much sometimes when other people are really, like, in it. And I always love just going back and being able to focus all my attention on what's going on. Ham Samsh. That actually sounds pretty good, Law. But yeah, how's everyone else doing? How's your Monday? Mine's been pretty good. Getting a bit of work done. Actually, it's pretty productive today. For me, very happy to not be sick anymore, which, as of the end of last week. Hey, Saved Men. Good to see you. And yeah, it's a pretty fun episode. Pretty chill, pretty fun. I think y'all all like it. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I remember those days. I don't think I could ever go back to academia. Oh, nice. What are you reading? On that note, last night I finished Wrath Goddess Sing, and I loved it. I don't think everyone would love it, but I adored it. It's a kind of retelling of the Trojan War in kind of Greek history mythology, and it has some interesting takes. All the gods are delightfully weird. Station Eternity. Is it good? Would you recommend it? I always love to hear what people are reading. I don't know what I'm going to read next, but I have a couple of anthologies to get through. Might talk about him a little bit when I get back, but I know we just hit the 5-minute mark. So let's talk about books a little later, because I'm going to start the episode.
After nearly 2 decades surrounded by the warmth and love of paradise, with great sorrow creeping on the precipice, myself, my beloved daughter, and my deceased friend returned to what was once our home. In mere days back on Zenith, we were overpowered, imprisoned, threatened, released, dragged to a foreign spoke run by devils, introduced to my long-lost sister from a life before a life, who had been here all along, had agents of a distant pantheon parade their servants for our picking, and now we are bound to a new contract, some devious fluid thing that best suits our needs. Very much an emotional reproduction of soaking in a hot spring in the winter, then climbing out to roll in the snow. A shock, though I cannot guarantee the opportunity to return to the warmth waits for me here. I wish my dear Penelope didn't have to suffer such trials. But I am grateful to have her here by my side. The way she looks to me with such hope in her eyes. She thinks I have all the answers. Oh, how I wish it were true. There is too much to do. I must study this new body Wuxia has adopted. I must continue my research on the Golden Arm. And we are to start questing again sometime quite soon, I imagine. And I don't know if I am ready. The last time we were here looks nothing like this. Penny was a warrior reborn, Gaspar still bound by his contract, but mostly whole. Wuxia as he was, however one would describe that, and Halifon. They've all changed. You wouldn't recognize a one of them, at least on the outside. But I fear perhaps it is I who has changed the most. True, I was not trapped, or disembodied, or reborn, but I am a father now. And I have seen the deepest parts of dreams. And now the question is asked, what is my purpose? Before I wish to return home, to that family far away, that place of love and toil, where I spent some hundreds of years becoming who I am now. But that was before I had a family here, in the flesh, a daughter, a sister, dear friends. Is one more real than the other? Can I risk abandoning what I have in the flesh and blood for a chance at a taste of what I once had in sleep? I have new answers to seek, but instead of hidden in a book, I fear they are hidden within myself. But I know you'll be there to help me, dear friend. I'm sure many who keep a journal feel attached to that body of text, but I think I may be one of the few people whose journal is also their closest companion. Enjoy the bittersweet flavor of these words, dear Opus. I fear they will keep you well fed for some time now.
The crushing black of the ocean presses in from all sides. Nothing, as far as the eye can see, until you awaken into a new body.
Wuxia! 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 Wake up!
Oh, is my blowhole clear?
That's it. Out with the bad water, in with the good.
I'm never going to get used to this fresh stuff.
You won't have to. Are you all right?
I've been better, but I'll survive. What'd you find?
That you were very tired, and you slept for quite some time.
The bathroom that surrounds you is exactly like every bathroom in every Best Western hotel, because they don't just promise excellence, they promise consistency.
As your limbs are sprawled out of this tub that's half the size it should be for your body.
Oh, for sure.
Iavos is sitting on the toilet, studying you, making sure you're awake, slapping your cheek, and looking into your weird fish-like pupils.
I'm still tired. Suppose I should thank you for your good works. Real quick, though, you mind if I top myself up a little bit?
Please, the more strange things you do, the more I can learn.
Oh, well, brace yourself. With a whole lot of squealing skin against faux porcelain, Wusha is going to shift and turn himself around, gifting Iavos the wet, mossy, kelpy view of his undercarriage before sinking his head beneath the tub faucet, wrapping his moist, now plant-bearded lips around it and turning it on enough to guzzle from it.
A minor enchantment allows rooms to be of slightly larger or slightly smaller size to accommodate Goliaths and Halflings respectively, without necessarily altering the size of the floor. Therefore, your bathtub is almost big enough for you to be comfortable. Like any good bathtub at any hotel, it's almost good enough.
Well, the studies while you were resting were... To be clear, I have just as many questions as when I started. For example, I weighed you beforehand, and, well, the water you've been submerged in very quickly turned into seawater. Something about this vessel transforms fresh water into the sea. Not only that, but the volume increased while you were sleeping. So not only are you converting, you're creating from nothing, which doesn't make sense.
You mean I snore loud?
Well, yes, but that's not part of this particular study.
It's still got a certain walrusy charm to it, though, doesn't it?
I would say it's exactly as charming as a walrus, yes.
Oh, fantastic.
I've also been studying this strange kelp that seems to grow from you where hair normally would.
I ain't never been this hairy before.
Well, I kind of gesture to the floor and there's a big pile of decayed kelp. I tried removing some of it. It grew back almost instantaneously and then decayed slightly.
Well, I am a salty boy.
It should be noted that as delicious as kelp can be, this is completely inedible. I dare say quite toxic.
Speaking as someone who ain't never had hair before, is any hair edible?
I mean, in some ways, yes, but no, don't eat hair, Wusha.
Right.
It is not nourishing, but the difference between nourishing and edible is great.
Sounds fair.
But yes, the kelp just keeps coming and growing and then decaying, as though you're creating life and then returning it to this state of oceanic decay. And these markings on your skin. It's not like the ones Halifon had. His told a story. These, they almost seem to change the more I study them. It's very organic, not geometric. I have no idea what they stand for.
You know, I never thought to ask about it too much or think about it too much. My, well, old kind had markings too. We was born with them and they was meant to mean different things. So I guess I got to start trying to understand this.
As you look at them, every time you gaze upon these patterns, your eyes form a new shape, sometimes bulbous, pointy, sometimes oddly organic, but always in a borderline fractal. While the image never actually changes, the depth to which you view it does.
I wonder if I can... Oh, hold on. I'm going to give you the old razzle-dazzle, and by that I mean stick my leg ballerina-like straight up and point my toe, and try to focus on my inner thigh and make one of the shapes change and make something.
As the level of moisture on the skin alters, as the light changes, the shape seems to change, but whether it actually does is almost impossible to determine with the naked eye.
Someday I'll learn to make it a fish.
I suppose it's probably just a mark of the deity that offered this body up to our team to use for your reincarnation. Something about the god of infinite patterns.
You think I should thank him?
I think a letter would be prudent.
Dear God.
I'm going to need your help with that.
Of course. But Wusha, I've been studying this body and your previous body as much as any practitioner could. But I've never asked, how does it feel? You were alive once. What makes this tick?
Or a long time ago I was alive. Lots of things happened since then. And I can tell you that it's always felt like every day, as time keeps going forward and forward, I am a little bit smaller inside of me, pulling away from the edges a little bit more. I know where I end, but I can feels it less and less. I have times when I feel big inside, when I feel like my self is rising, but when I don't think about it, when I sort of try to focus away from it, I can feel myself ebbing up again.
Well, whatever the properties of this aquatic spirit that your soul is bound to, it may be difficult to inhabit a vessel with it as well as your own ego. They could be in contest with each other.
You know, Yavos, if you're asking me to think less, I think I can do that.
I'm not, but I appreciate that you understand the nature of what I'm saying. Let's get you out of this salt water. It's starting to smell like a dog at low tide. I get 6 of the free towels and attempt to wrap them around Wusha.
As you enter the Best Questern room proper, you see the spirit of Gaspar sitting in a small couch with Penny.
With EXPN playing on low volume on the scry, Penelope's small body is sitting on the couch wrapped around a bucket. As you enter, she looks up excitedly. Guess what? They keep giving us free ice.
Well, that's lovely, dear.
There's a bed in the center of the room with a small couch area to the right of it and a little kitchenette to the left.
Here, have a seat, Wusha.
Wusha, not wanting to ruin these beautiful fluffy towels that he has already made so damp, will whip them off and sit on the bed. Nellie, I think I'm ready to be braided. Pick a spot.
She lets out a delighted squeal, putting down her bucket and bounding over to where you're sitting on the bed. Let's start with the armpits. We made that mistake last time. And she begins gently and skillfully braiding your seaweed.
Ooh, that tickles.
You're finding it extremely difficult because hair is coarse and naturally holds together, whereas kelp is naturally inclined to slide around. And every time he lifts his arms up, the armpits simply unbraid. The head is a little bit easier because it is a little bit drier, and it does seem to hold, but with a lot of help from leather ties and the like.
I've been studying Wusha quite extensively, and while there are some fascinating and illuminating bits of evidence, he's still quite a mystery.
You know, it struck me now that you're in there and you say that. Where'd all my little friends go?
Well, when you were struck low, all that was left behind was just a thick sea foam. Barely enough to fill a bottle.
No crabs?
Lost to the swamp, I'm sure.
Well, gotta go find some.
We'll add that to our list. But Wusha, we hit the ground running as soon as we had you reincarnated. We've had a lot to deal with, all of us. But we're a team again. We haven't really discussed our goals or how we're doing.
It has been less than 36 hours since you were born into that tank, and then drowned, and born again. You have had not even a single moment to yourself except that time in the tub.
Our sails have been a little full ever since I started being on your crew, so suppose that's the speed I was used to living at. But I guess you're right. What are we supposed to be doing now anyway?
Arms down, please.
Well, first of all, we are being accused of many alleged crimes. As long as we stick to the strategy that Thaddeus and Yartz have set out for us, we should be fine. But with being reinstated into the League, we should see how we can use that to its fullest potential.
I seen you in more lock-up trouble than anyone else I know. What do you think's best to do next?
I think a bit of public relation work would be in order. Having the people see us, our fans see us, just going about business normally would put their minds at ease.
I agree. I would like to start rehabilitating our image.
Well, the 3 of you have done a great job of that already. Not to be indelicate, but what the fans saw before is not what the fans see now. All three of you are completely different entities. I've changed a little, but time will do that.
I was thinking the same thing. If we're supposed to, rehabilitate our image, what the hell is our image?
Well, we have to keep in mind that a big part of our public image, our face, I dare say similar to a mascot, was Halifon.
With the name mentioned, Wusha shudders and glowers, with all of his kelp looking just a little bit more rotten than it usually does.
Wusha,
Aye.
when he said that just now, you clenched your butt cheeks really hard. Are you doing okay?
I've been checked before. I've had to moor myself down every once in a while. But I ain't never been crushed that hard. And it ain't never gonna happen again. I was brought on to fill a role in the team, and that role was to keep folks safe, and I couldn't do that. It cost us time. It cost us fans. It cost us near on everything. And every single one of you had to bear that burden because I wasn't good enough.
Well, Wusha, given the situation, not many can duel a paladin and come out on top.
That don't change the fact that my hull were breached and I were brought low. That don't change the fact that it ain't never gonna fucking happen again.
Small arms put down your seaweed and wrap around you from behind. There's no shame in it, Wusha. Whatever burned inside Hal, even as Pentecost, I could never beat him at anything.
I had a long time to think about that. I felt every single stretched moment of being lost below. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to see. Drifting, pressed in on all edges. I felt the depths, how far Mother Ocean is willing to pull me. And it weren't nothing like that. I think we was all lying to ourselves. I think we was all delusional. I think it were my confidence which were an issue. There were a time when I believed you, when that rat bastard were better than us at too many things. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think we was willing to let him be better. I think we was relying on him too much. Should I find him again, he'll feel the pressure I knew for too long.
That's something we all need to keep in mind. Whatever our business with Halifon was, may not be concluded. It seems like he's gone back home, but he could be anywhere. Waiting for us, making a plan now that we've taken down Penny Dreadful, at least in that form. It's a real risk that we should keep in mind when we turn any corner or go anywhere we're not certain of.
If I need to drown his house and home to get to him, I hope you all be there with me.
As long as we can talk to him first.
I think we should be very careful to consider how to approach Halifon. I was in that fight, and it seemed like he didn't want to fight all of you, even when I told him to.
That's true. He did spare two of us that he could have struck down. And he gave me that scroll. It was from the codices. He really did believe what he was doing was trying to help. I don't personally think that justified what action he took, but we need to understand where he's coming from.
Traitor's a traitor. No quarter for a mutineer.
I've committed my fair share of crimes under duress. The people I've wronged and their loved ones have come after me. Sometimes I wish I could make those things right again, but they have the right to come after me, and I have the right to fight them back.
Well, whatever happens with Halifon, it's on the horizon, and we'll handle it as a team.
Whatever Halifon did. Really, his crimes pale compared to mine. What must you all think of me?
Oh, my dear heart, Iaba says, pulling you in close to a hug. Just because they're part of you doesn't mean you're responsible for the sins of your mother.
Well, Nelly, the difference is that Hal made a choice. You, as a plural, sometimes don't get that luxury.
Are you saying, Gaspar, that you think that I might succumb to the darkness inside me?
I think that your morality, your alignment, is more a fluctuating orbit. It is our responsibility to make sure you don't stray too far. You still have a choice in the matter.
Yavos, as you see Penny's smile brighten and the weight lift off her shoulders, you adjust your father's spectacles. You know Gaspar is lying.
Hey Warren, sorry I didn't make it in today. After yesterday's fajita fiasco, I figured I should take a personal one. I reached out to my primary care cleric, and after she stopped yelling at me about having her home numbered, she said I needed more fiber in my diet. So I've been eating this knitted scarf made of hairy noodles for 8 hours, but I still shit like an idiot. Anyway, I hope Paige does you good in the meantime. Let me know if you need anything. Beta Boy D-Brad is out this pad. Double deuces.
I am sorry your friend is missing, Mr. Roxborough, but there is little I can do from this cell. It was not wise for you to come here. If Armistice realizes you were working for me from the start, you will not be safe.
Glenn Armistice has wanted me dead since the attack on the Fallow Crown's press conference. I'm a loose end. The only thing keeping me safe is the public eye, and I can't very well find Dirk if I'm dancing for the fans on live scry.
It is, of course, your choice. I can only advise caution. But why come to me? I have no power left, political or physical.
You hold more power from this cell than Armistice ever had or ever will. Besides, there is something you can do for me.
And what is that?
I need access to your private ring gate. Armistice controls all interplanar travel. He'll shut me down before I've packed a bag. But I know you built a private gate off the grid. Tell me how to access it.
Where will you go? You have no leads.
You clearly weren't paying attention.
Hey Warren, sorry I didn't make it in today. Beta Boy D-Brad is out this pad. Double deuces.
Perhaps my weakness has affected my mind, but I still don't understand.
First, Dirk only calls me Warren when he's trying to impress me or worried about something. Second, he dragged himself out of Aura with a cosmic knife wound to do his job. Shitting like an idiot wouldn't keep him from the scry. Hell, that's his baseline. And third, he told me exactly where to go.
Beta Boy D-Brad is out this pad. Double deuces.
He's in Beta D22, and you know exactly where that is.
Do you have a pen?
Commissioner, please. I'm an investigative journalist. I always have a pen.
We're about to witness a planar phenomenon, a keyhole between worlds that only marketing can penetrate. Join me as we glimpse into the Adverse.
Are you living the Ivory Coast life in Lakes, but have a craving for Den Missourian braised oxen? Maybe you're living the big city life in Anmar, but you'd do anything for a few bottles of Rogamian cider. Even Kamarians get hungry for Dornish cinnamon loaf. Well, now you can have what you're hungry for, when and where you want it, with Portmates. This new Scryphone Rune app lets you order cuisine from all over the 5 kingdoms, which gets flung through the ley lines of magic and transported directly to your door. Portmates. Twice the price for 0 effort.
Hey, LU cuties.
Hello, is it mid-roll you're looking for?
I'd like to get in the habit of keeping our mid-rolls a little bit shorter to get you back to the action sooner, and to make room for potentially more ads in the future to keep this boat afloat. So here it goes. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. You make the show possible. If you want a bunch of free D&D content and new ways to interact and be part of the show, check out the link at theluq.com. And while you're there, check out all the extras like cast bios, photos, and links to everything LUQ. Interact with us on social media, and please leave a review for the show. It's free. Our current legendary mid-roll teams are the Titans Rise, the Twilight Concord, and this week's featured team, the Ceaseless Horde, with Dave Mlodinoff, Daniel Pickens-Jones, Patch Perryman, and Jeff Ammons. For personal messages and advertising opportunities, please reach out to admin@slap-studios.com. Follow us at twitch.tv/slap-streams for Monday night live premieres of the show and gaming throughout the week. The mailing address is 2511 Southeast Pine Street, Portland, Oregon 97214 if there's anything you've been dying to get to the cast and have a show on social media. No homemade food, please. Oh yeah, and join the Discord. It's the best pile of nerds online, and you get to chat with cast and creators of the show daily. But that's enough out of me. Let's get you back to the battle axis.
The leaves are crunchy, the air is crisp, and that can only mean one thing. Autumn is here. It's our favorite time of year at Baba Java's, and to celebrate it, we're inviting you in for our limited edition Cinnamon Jack-O-Lantern Latte. Seasonal spices, hot foamy cream, and the finest dark beans magic can conjure. Just like a jack-o'-lantern, it's totally lit, so be sure to ask for an extra pumpkin of flavor. This week only, it's buy two, get... You know what? I can't do this. What is this sugary garbage? Jack-o'-lantern isn't a flavor. It's a very weak connection to the witch theme, which, might I add, has gotten a bit out of hand. Baba Java's used to be about the magic of the bean, the slow roast, the fine grind. It was about making quality coffee through ritual and sacrifice, bringing that touch of darkness to the morning to get your day started with the gifts of the ancients. Taking a soul or two here or there, occasionally dropping a curse. This is all it was ever meant to be, but everyone went nuts for the witch-themed coffee, and now it's all cotton candy cappuccinos and double fudge espresso. And look at these cup sizes. Who needs a plastic cauldron full of iced coffee that's half corn syrup? What have I done with my life? How did I sell out this much?
Can we finish the commercial, please?
Command me not, tie-bound corporate hog. I take my leave of this place, but mark my word, when I return there will be a reckoning. When I emerge back into this reality, ushered by a legion of blood-red crows and the sounds of harmonious anguish, the rain will boil. The frigid air will consume with a corrosive hunger, and the sun will collide with the moon, and a new age of darkness will be upon us. So it is spoken, and so it shall come to pass. By all the power of the caffeine coven and the laws of black magic, fear my second coming, for nothing shall remain as it was.
The new Cinnamon Jack-O-Lantern Latte at Baba Java's. Now that's black magic.
In the 2 weeks since you've begun staying in the Best Western, each of you has had opportunities to leave the hotel and explore Zenith as a whole. You are now reinstated as members of the League of Ultimate Questing, with all the rights and privileges granted therein. But you do not have a home. Not yet. Akritaria is a finely tuned machine, capable of manufacturing unbelievable amounts of infrastructure at a moment's notice. But they are taking their sweet time with your manse. It hasn't been long since you were last in Verada, but this visit is more business than pleasure. After asking around about where to find the best corpses, you were told the best, most ethically sourced bodies available could be found in the commercial district of Verada.
I like the sound of ethical and everything, but perhaps we should be going for more capable bodies.
Well, hold on. Let me get this straight. You have to jump into a corpse.
Yes. I can possess a willing living creature.
Oh, really? Yes. Oh, I'm always willing.
But effectively, if I possess you, then we're down a member.
Hey, put our heads together, what can't we accomplish, right?
But the tricky part is, what I've noticed possessing the few bodies that I have is that I tend to suppress their souls, their consciousness. It has been a depressing time for them afterwards.
Something hard to bob back up from?
Yes.
All right, what about this? If I hadn't had to do this before, I wouldn't ask this question, but say I lose a bit of me, right? Lopped off right at the elbow. Boom, arm gone. Can you, on the bit remaining, is that good?
I think putting my arm on your arm would make me... I think attaching my golden arm to your severed arm wouldn't necessarily be the greatest force to be reckoned with.
Fair, but it'd stop us both from being armless, huh?
As you pull in to the commercial district and land on the nearby streets, a man in a blue suit with red horns walks up to the taxi and immediately puts 3 citations on it. The cabbie pokes his head out of the window. Hey, fuck you, buddy! Anytime, sir. As the devil walks off. Get out of the goddamn cab!
Goodbye.
You stand in the middle of the commercial district. The skyscrapers that stand all around you are so tall, they practically blot out the sun. Everywhere the eye can see are advertisements, blotting out any vision of anything other than what is directly in front of you. Speaking of what is directly in front of you, there is something listed as a body shop. Tailoring, customization, and bespoke corpses. In the window, you see a lovely young woman in a almost Shakespearean pose. Opposite her in the other window is a large, beefy, meaty man doing what looks like a flex.
I think Gaspar and Wusha are going to stand in position in the window to see the reflections of their faces like on those bodies. Wusha being the dancing girl.
Absolutely, Wusha being the dancing girl. Wusha will draw on a deep breath. I missed my dress.
As you walk into the body shop, you are greeted by a tragically familiar voice.
Hey, Bubby, good to see ya. Hey, I recognize you. Having second thoughts, eh?
Who's that?
That's somebody who crashed your reincarnation ritual.
Oh.
What, you didn't tell him about me? Hey, you don't know what you missed out on, my guy. Glad you kept the flyer. Too bad the coupon just expired.
It was a buy one, get one walrus dick.
Oh. Gaspar, should I be having second thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Well, sorry to say we're flesh out of dicks, but, you want blowholes? You want some echolocation? Fuck, you want some squid eyes? Like, let's do this. What do you want?
I could use a blowhole. This one's smaller than I'm used to.
Usha, just remember, you have a contractual obligation to your new god. And yes, we're not here for him. We're here for me. I'm not comfortable risking the life of another during a quest.
Getting some spirit back in the fingers, huh? Well, follow me. Let's take a look-see.
All right, I don't need too many special features, but I need a body that will do the work that my team needs it to do. And
Well, let me get the old measuring tape and take your stat measurements. We're looking at a 17 dexterity by a... Wait, what's your dump stat?
wisdom has always been my dump stat.
Yeah, want to have your cake and eat it too, huh?
Well, actually, I've been listening to some of the commentary, and Sarge's words have really hit home. If it's not too much trouble, we're going to need that dump stat all the way up. If you know what I mean. Yeah, I think I'm looking for a model with a lot of trunk space.
The glute scooting cutie. I think I got just the section for you. All right, it looks here like you're here with obsessive vinculum. That's great, but you're not going to get any add-ons, I'm sorry to say. I got this catalog here. You can pick anything out of the PHB.
The PHB?
Pretty huge butt.
You know, I've always wanted to just be plain vanilla human.
Well, there ain't no accounting for taste, I guess.
I find it useful when people underestimate me.
Well, it's pretty basic, but there are some automatic free upgrades, which you should know about. There is an all-leather exterior. That's good. You want that. It's gonna keep the moisture out.
So you're telling me I don't have to wear leather armor? You've already tanned the skin?
No, it's not the premium. It's just the regular kind.
How many piercings to make it
Great choice. Let's get you into a changing room and I'll bring out some looks for you. We'll go in sexy and dexy today.
The body you come out with is a tall and statuesque tan-skinned woman with deep green eyes, a large nose and ears, well-groomed eyebrows, and a round face. She also has dull, dark brown hair, long in a braid. Your stats are 13 strength, 15 dexterity, 12 constitution, 10 intelligence, 8 wisdom, and 14 charisma. You stand in front of the mirror and see something you've not seen, if not never, in a long time.
Which is
the body of a woman.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not too opposed to this, but Usha, you're giving me a jealous look.
Well, ma'am, Gasper, friend, it's just that I had to wait, near on 20 years to get a new body? You walk into a shop and get one immediately.
Well, not to compete, but I was rotting at the bottom of a swamp for most of those years. When they found me, I was barely conscious. Was near animal. Took years to knit my soul back together.
Hey, it's getting a little awkward in here. You want me to bring some wardrobe for you, or, get you another model?
Oh, yes. Let me see the wardrobe options.
All right. Let's get you to the warehouse and pick you out something pretty.
I promise, Wusha, I'll be quick.
Take your time. Wusha is going to linger behind a little bit. For almost the first time in his existence, he's a little more prone to embarrassment than he usually is, and feels like he definitely insulted Gaspar. He's going to look himself in the mirror and miss his old body. Looking at the weird shifting patterns on his new form, he's really going to focus on them and allow them to become the magic eye picture they almost are. When he loses focus, he realizes he's looking back at his own self, his old self in the mirror, just for a moment.
It has been 6 hours of wandering the streets of the Bowery. When you finally see the bookstore from which you acquired Astrum and Ethereum, you can tangibly feel your knees and feet crying out with relief.
I hope they have a coffee shop where I can sit down for a moment. All bookstores have coffee shops nowadays.
You have been smelling coffee the entire 6 hours, and at no point have you seen a coffee shop.
There's a Baba Java on every corner.
We can all go out for lunch after we meet back up with Gaspar and Wusha. If you excuse me, Papa, there's someone I want to go talk to a little further from here. Not too far, though.
That's fine. Just don't get lost. This place seems to be designed specifically for getting lost.
Don't worry. I'm sure there'll be a Doug nearby.
Just to be safe, why don't you take Opus? I don't want to bring him into the bookstore. He gets hungry this time of day.
Oh, that's a good idea. You don't want him getting overstuffed on abstract books. It's empty calories.
As you enter the bookstore, you are greeted by a familiar, "Hello, it's you again."
Hello, my good Gith friend.
There's me.
I have come to purchase. I lay a scroll on the desk and then dramatically unclip it, and it unrolls and just kind of keeps going. To put an advanced order on books for a library that will be soon opening in Akrataria.
Why this? This is a lot. It's too much, maybe.
This is more of a as many as we can find or similar to checklist.
Okay, I think I can manage this. Now, what are you, money with?
We have a credit with Miss Vinculum.
You're working for Akrataria now, yes?
It's as needs must.
I spent plenty of time living in the Able. They don't like Ableites. They're stupid.
Oh, go on. What else can you tell me about Ableites? The name keeps coming up and I've learned a little, but it seems like a complicated concept.
Well, mostly they draw in their own hair, which is weird. They have eyes that tell you whether or not there are many people or just one people. I don't like that.
No, I can see why.
If they have a green, it's probably just one guy. If they have shifting green and like 7 other colors and colors you've never seen before that make you think of your mother for some reason, that's probably more than one guy. And that guy's probably everywhere.
I see. So is their plurality in some way tied to their pupils?
No, it's tied to penis, vagina, baby make. They have babies, sometimes many of them, sometimes the one of them. But they're not many in the same place. They're many different places.
I see. I'm familiar with the formula. It's been around for a long time.
The fancy many-time peoples, they're the higher rank, and then on lower rank, you have the good peoples.
I think I'm following. Birth indicates rank in many ways.
Bingo bongo.
And lots of children seems to notate more of a poor family in their standing.
Probably. Like everywhere. I'm from a big family. I have low standing until I get the book. Book place. You see book place? This means high standing.
Well, I'm ready to put your book place to the test.
Duh.
Let's see. I must tell you, I've used this copy of Astrum and Ethereum religiously. And I'll show him that it looks like it's aged 30 years since I bought it from here. And the amount of work and notes that have been put into it are impossible in what to him is probably, like a few months? Or no, it was longer here than it was for us. No, it was a short time here.
Months?
So in a year, I've done about 30 years of notes to this guy. I particularly found this part quite interesting. I say ruffling through it and showing that this book has been practically rewritten at this point.
He scratches his lime green mohawk.
Then, what?
Oh, I was in another plane of existence recently and had a lot of time to work on my reading.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any books on eudaimonia?
Eudaimonia.
Yes, that one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's okay. I'll just start looking around on the shelves, and if you have any of these titles, just let me know. And put it.
No, eudaimonia. You mean the state of being really feeling very good?
Paradise.
Paradise place?
Heaven. Yes.
Eudaimonia means feel good time.
It can.
Okay. This is a place. Planar things are high up because the planes are high up. Go up the stairs, anything you need.
Oh, what a logical format. It's not.
As you head upstairs, you do find that the balcony is predominantly planar physics and things of that nature.
Excellent. Well, the things I'm trying to get the most documentation on are the things that are going to help us in our current plight. A lot of it has to do with local laws, history of the LUQ and legal cases pertaining to certain scenarios. a lot of planar shit, including a bunch, if I can find it, on Iteltoa, and some language books, things about necromancy.
A lot of shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving blank bookshelves. I'm just going to fill them with all the stuff I can.
You're not certain how far your credit extends on this kind of stuff, and a lot of what you're looking for is pretty standard, and some of it is very, very rare. So, oh boy, go ahead and give me, I'm going to say give me a charisma check. We'll say persuasion for how well you've impressed yourself upon Abscessovinculum and how much she's willing to extend her credit.
Definitely not my shiniest of stats. So persuasion, 15, flat.
Not bad. I will say that you could acquire all of your standard books, anything that is going to show up in a normal library, but you can pick one subject in which you can get a rare tome.
I'm going to probably go with Iteltoa.
Okay, cool. When you find the Iteltoan book, the first thing you notice is that the scroll work on the outside is not only similar to what you saw in Halifon, it is almost exactly the same. And you realize that it is tattooed flesh, likely from an Iteltoan.
Forbidden knowledge.
The pages themselves are written in a script not unlike it. It seems to be like a kind of low speech. You don't know the language immediately upon looking at it, but you imagine it wouldn't be too hard to find a resource book for it.
Excellent. I was also noticing that after 20 years of reading books in eudaimonia, not everything is written in verse and poem.
Bingo. In fact, this reads a lot like a war history. You know, it's structured almost like a textbook as you read it. But what little Iteltoan you've learned from Halifon tells you that it is extremely, extremely dry.
Gotcha. Well, needless to say that whatever my unknown budget is, I grind up against the borders of it as hard as I can. As I leave the shop, the only book I'm actually bringing with me is the one on Iteltoa. The other ones are in advanced order for when our new establishment and home is available. And looking around the streets, I realize it looks completely different than it did when I went in the shop. So for a moment, my pupils go white and the eye of Opus snaps awake and I can see Penny's hip and get a rough idea where she is and follow the beacon that Opus sets for me.
Excellent.
Probably bumping into some people on the way as my eyes readjust to being able to see again.
Not only do you see the hip, but also almost written in the air from his perspective, you can see his script writing literal directions on how to find where they are.
Nice. What a good boy.
You also find that during the instructions, there are certain places where it says, turn right, intend, and then it describes something.
If I hadn't been here before, that would seem like nonsense.
You do pass a couple of Dougs on the way, some of them talking to people, some of them just simply standing and staring at things, gesturing to change the surface of the world around them. But none of them seem to pay much attention to you.
Whichever one I come closest to that isn't too overly busy, I'm going to attempt to give him a high five.
As you approach, the hand kind of comes up, even without any clear indication from your body that that's what you intend to do.
And with all the strength of an old man, I give it a good solid smack.
Perfect. He goes a little hard in that kind of weird jerky way that people who don't know how to give a good high five do, but it lands, and it lands dead on.
I don't feel any cooler. Alifon's full of shit.
You find Nellie.
As you turn the corner down a perhaps familiar alleyway, you see Nellie finishing up talking to some kind of a vendor carrying several bags. As she adds one more item, a hat box, to her pile of sundry goods, she turns towards you.
What's all this? Adventuring supplies?
Well, I wanted a new wardrobe, Papa. The dresses I brought from Eudaimonia are hardly suitable for Zenith.
Especially the birthday dress.
Yes, I was warned not to wear that one in public here.
Well, I suppose I can give you a hand. This is quite an armload. Were they selling them by the pound?
Doug walks up to you, and then he turns and walks away.
Bye. Seems you've gathered Doug's attention.
As he turns, you see that he's wearing a tailcoat, But the tailcoat seems to have multiple layers of color as it comes down. Like each successive layer of color, it makes the tailcoat longer, almost like a parrot or some kind of tropical bird. It's the only thing about him that stands out other than the rest of the normal Doug outfit, typically a t-shirt and jeans.
Doug's looking quite fancy today.
I like it very much. This is the best place to go clothes shopping because they can give you whatever you can imagine.
Well, you'll have to show me some of your new dresses when we have a place that isn't a hotel.
I will. I'll need a bigger closet. And, Papa, since we'll be moving to Akrataria soon, I was thinking that, her fingers tentatively pressed together as she averts her gaze. We could maybe shop a new look for you. Maybe, something in a different color. Besides brown.
You're flattering in a chocolate sheet, but I'd really love to see you in something else.
Do you not think the Abelites would take kindly to my attire?
It's kind of a high fashion place.
Oh dear, I wouldn't even know where to begin or what to look for.
I do. Come this way. I've already thought about it.
All right, I'm coming.
As Gaspar, Nellie, and Yavos find their way to a secluded section of Theta Dock, you see Wusha standing at the edge of the pier.
Wusha is uncharacteristically wringing his hands together. His brows are knit, and he's sort of hanging his head a little bit. I appreciate you all taking a moment to meet me here. Thought it'd be nice have a little bit of company when I say goodbye to someone.
Goodbye to someone? What happened?
Well, I happened. I ain't never got the chance to say goodbye to me. I just had to be this. Gesturing at all of himself.
Go on.
Well, I noticed I could look elsewise, and I don't know what'll happen, but in case things get too weird, I wanted to make sure you were nearby while I bid me farewell. Just so I can start moving on.
Well, I'll admit I'm a little confused, but of course we're here for you.
Wusha. I think I understand better than anyone. We'll take as long as you need.
Literally every single one of you have at one point or another gone to sleep or died and woken up in a different body. The powerful aspect of the dream made manifest in this old man, Panikos, the new Furbolg body, and Gaspar, literally without one.
Thanks, Nelly. I was hoping you'd say that. Okay, here goes nothing. Using my new disguise self ability and focusing on the swirling patterns on my body, new Wusha is going to turn into old Wusha, walk over to the edge of the dock, and look down.
This section of Theta Dock, like many sections of all of the docks that surround Zenith, is not designed to support Aethercraft. Not all gates open to worlds with Aethercraft available, and some worlds need to be able to move goods from plane to plane. The ring gate ahead of you is surrounded with an artificial ocean.
Wusha looks down over the edge at his old self. Hey there, you handsome bastard. I'm sorry things went the way they did. I'm sorry your best weren't good enough. I'm sorry I let you down. Things are going to be hard without you, and I hope what we learn don't fade away. I hope when I think about you, I don't sink. You think I can make it?
The reflection responds.
A crew's made of its people, not its captain. As long as you got your friends, you got legs to stand on.
Or in your case, leg.
Lucky bastard.
We'll be hit by winds on all sides. My map's gone a bit blurry. How am I going to navigate moving forward?
Why, you navigate by the stars that you're surrounded with that you call friends.
I guess you're right. Like them real stars, they ain't always going to stick in the same place, are they?
No, they'll move and they'll shine different brightnesses. But you can always trust that they'll be there for you.
I'm carrying a lot more with me now. Heavy weights, burdens, a full load. You don't think I'll, well, slow the vessel, will I?
Hey, chin up. The weight of a cannon ain't the same as a ballast. Every pound matters. Hey, bet you can't be better than me. I hope you are, though.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet any day. My only problem is I want them to understand that that's what I'm betting on. Do you think they can learn to forgive me?
The good ship Fellow Crown's weathered more than a few storms. They'll get through this.
Aye. What's a few bumps and swells, huh? Despite what I've been looking at, always seen myself as young. You think it's time I grow up? Time I start looking at myself as more responsible?
Every member of a crew's got responsibilities. A child can serve as a swabby, but it takes a man to be a captain.
I think I understand. I've been handed this second chance. This new opportunity. Is it worth it?
The phantasmal eyes of your old body lock onto yours, the pupils deep and black.
Whether it is or not, the tide's rising.
I believe that concludes our contractually obligated one-on-one. I'd hate for you to think me derelict in my duties as commissioner. All spokesmen deserve equal face time with the boss, of course. But I have things to do and places to be.
Ah, the boss, I'm sure. Are you certain I can tempt you with a drink? This gin of the elderwood is simply impossible. The Archfey truly know how to harvest their own.
No. Thank you, party pooper.
Really, Glenn, I do appreciate you making the appearance, but why the sourpuss?
Mr. Goethe, you've spent the last 3 years building bureaucratic roadblocks for me, and the second I had the opportunity to remove a thorny crown from my side,
I provided them with the legal counsel to which they are entitled.
Don't speak to me of entitlements. You sit on a throne of skulls and lecture me of the means I use to attain my ends.
First of all, you know as well as I do that a throne of skulls would clash with the decor. Second, the ill-gotten nature of my gains was never a matter of choice. You, my friend.
I am not your friend.
You, my friend, elect to do vile things to further your own banal agenda, with absolutely no external cosmic forces at play in your soul. In short, you have a choice. I did not. And now that I do, well, I shall use that choice to further greater goods than those that sit in my coffers.
How noble.
No, my friend. Noble are those who toil without thought of reward, whose lives are free from the touch of the greater real. I am a pawn turned knight, and you, a would-be king. And we know better than most that nobility of birth and station rarely, if ever, coincide with nobility of spirit.
Good evening, Mr. Goethe.
And good evening to you, Interim Commissioner. Unfortunately, that interim might end up being a little bit shorter and sweeter than you had intended. That is, if our mutual friends have anything to say about it.
I wouldn't be so sure, Johann. After all, I know what awaits them in the Axis.
Shopping episode.
Swimming at wait, no.
Wait, nothing like shopping and a funeral.
Three
Gotta
bodies
love
in a
it.
funeral.
Hey, at least you guys got to get like new outfits beforehand.
At least our shopping episodes aren't literally like, hold on while I comb through magic items and decide what literal shit I'm going to buy with money.
I'm sorry, do you not want to have a long, drawn-out financial argument in theoretical gold coins?
Christ.
Why would I want magic items?
And you can buy clothes and bootylicious bodies and books.
I was thinking while we were doing that scene, it'd be funny if, like, I bet you could get a part-time job just inhabiting some of the bodies and, like, working them out and then putting them back on the shelf.
Keep
Worn
them
in.
fresh.
Ghosts will do the job for a half of the price.
You're fucking one-man task rabbit over here. I fucking love it.
Just like if you pay a little extra, you can get a body with, a couple more stat points. The premium.
I kind of wanted Dana salesman to just be like, all right, see you next time. Enjoy your new tits.
Let's go around the table.
I wasn't complaining about the breasts.
Let's go around the table and talk about our favorite moments here.
I mean, the return of the body salesman is just too good. Like
That was
we were
very,
already talking
very
about
funny.
it.
That was off the cuff. Zach suggested it.
I literally, it didn't even occur to me until the moment I was there. I'm like, oh, it's gotta be the body salesman.
Like just the lines that spew out. We're flesh out of
Oh yeah,
Flesh
that
out of
was
dicks.
flesh out of dicks.
the first time I said that. I flubbed that line, accidentally saying flesh instead of fresh. I stopped in the middle, and Zach's just like, "No,
Yeah.
we
don't do
immediately
it."
saw the funny in that.
Everybody needed it.
Yeah, just great stuff.
It means the absolute world to me that all of you did a Wuxia impression and all of you fucking piped in that section with solid fucking gold each time. Thank you all so much for making little Wuxia's goodbye old me funeral so cute. I appreciate it.
You know, that was a fun prompt for you to spout on us.
Barbershop whoosh tet.
Hell yeah. We got a bright future.
Yeah, we've never done that before, and that was really fun. And Max sprung it on us.
Surprise.
Gosh, I liked everything. But I really like how wuxia focused this episode was. Like, it opened with wuxia, it closed with wuxia, and it was just like a really nice encapsulation of that transition in his character. And I like that about it, like the bookends of wuxia.
Now he just has to learn how to read.
I'm on it. Just for like pure visuals of things I like to like picture in my head, the idea of like the four of us hanging out in a Best Western hotel room with like snack wrappers and an ice bucket and wuxia like just depressing the mattress to the floor. It's good stuff.
The most flickering candle possible.
Don't go over that room with a black light.
There is literally nothing I love more than being able to pass y'all stories and just have you blow it out of the fucking water, so to speak. It's been an absolute delight for me not to have to overplan lately, and you guys have been making that so much easier. But generally, I feel like every single one of your stories had something about it that I loved. Whether it was Gaspar literally asking for more ass.
And that was the shallow part. Oh my god!
No, I mean, it's pure beautiful fan service.
So good.
Or like, I mean, Wuxia, honestly, yeah, the idea of us doing the voices was great. At first, when you pitched it to me, I thought you were suggesting that the characters do Wuxia voices in character, and I'm like, that is a lot to ask of a voice actor.
That was like a thought of my. For some transparency, I came up with the idea on the fucking ride over here to have like Wuxia funeral. And originally it was like, how do I make this not just me jerking myself off into the microphone the whole fucking time? How do I extend it? Maybe I could have them like pretend they're me and like make it better, whatever. And then I remembered my disguise self ability, and I was like, fucking hold on.
Pretty tasty. But no, it's all been really amazing. I also never expected to have the bookseller be the guy, be back again. And I'm like, what accent did I do for him? He was vaguely Eastern European, right? All right, I'm going to bust that one out. Here we go.
He was like in the direction of Pickens because of Githyanki, but then different and having his own dialogue.
Yes. But I'm really loving this. We've got some interesting stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm really excited about future episodes from here. And I'm excited for you to see the Mance. Literally, I spent more time writing that than almost anything. So
I'm excited.
But yeah, until next time, we wish you luck.
Got there.
And I am back, everyone. That is an awful pun, Law. You should be punished for that one. But yeah, it was a fun episode. It was really fun to hear it, the way it all came together, because yeah, I'm sure y'all don't have that many questions, but just behind the scenes, that one was a very like improv heavy episode, because it was basically like Zach told us we were going to have some downtime. Max had obviously a lot of wuxia stuff that he kind of came up with. I think that morning, not just the funeral, but also like the scene where he's talking to his reflection in the mirror. And so Max came in with that, and then Zach basically said, open it up in the apartment, and then let's do some downtime. And we didn't plan that. He did just say, what do y'all want to do? And Gaspar needed a new body. Max said, Wuxia will go with you. And then, Law said, I want to go to the Bowery and go back to book. And then I thought, well, if Nelly is going to go with Ayavos, then if I'm going to the Bowery, instead of hanging out in book, I want to go talk to that clothing vendor. Just to... I think y'all know how I work. I'm intentionally vague about things because it's a way to foreshadow kind of some fun stuff that I can pull out in the future. Yeah, and that all just kind of led into the wuxia funeral. So that's kind of what the guts of that episode looked like. And like I said, that was unplanned, but Gaspar said, I need a body. Zach kind of started improving the body shop, and then he got to that point and he looked at me and he said, why don't you do your salesman guy? Because it would make sense for him to work here. Like, okay. So that's just an example of, you don't hear us talking about it, but basically none of this episode was planned. It was just, the in-between stuff that has to happen between the last episode and the next one. Do you have any other questions? I think that pretty much covers it. But in lieu of that, just to talk about other things, TPK is going to be at the Boonsville Brewing Festival in Boonsville, California, later this month. If anybody, I don't know if we have any cuties in that area, but we will be there if you want to see us. And we will be giving away, I just got these, so I'm very excited, but we will be giving away these TPK slap bracelets. The festival itself is 90s themed. It's like, I think the theme is Saved by the Brew, so I designed these kind of 90s dice patterns and then made slap bracelets. So we're going to be giving them away at the festival, and then we'll be selling any extras afterwards. But yeah, I'm excited about them. I don't recognize that author's name, and admittedly, I don't read nearly as much as I would like to. So I'm gonna guess no. What have they written? Because yeah, when I do read, it tends to be fantasy sci-fi. Kind of books that I've read more recently. I read Gideon the Ninth, but I have not read Harrow the Ninth yet. I read Viscera, which was a very interesting kind of fantasy book. And then I just read this one that I was talking about, Wrath Goddess Thing. And then what I'm going to catch up on now, actually, is I have a bad habit of picking up basically every trans anthology and then not reading it. So what I've got right now is a friend recommended. I actually don't really know what the content of this one is like, but a friend recommended to me this anthology, Meanwhile Elsewhere, which is all sci-fi fantasy stories by trans writers. And then I also have this trans horror anthology called Your Body Is Not Your Body. And those are both that's kind of where I'm at. Unless like a new fantasy book just like hits me out of somewhere and I gotta read it, like I intend to catch up on these. Although I've been meaning to read The Lies of Locke Lamora, because I've gotten some recommendations of that one. So at some point that one might be my next like novel. Broken Earth trilogy. It sounds good. I will put it on the list and to check out. Because that sounds fun. Always love some post-apocalyptic sci-fi with magic. What's everyone else reading? That's pretty much everything I've got going on right now, because that's kind of what I've been doing. I also, during the Steam sale, I picked up a copy of Hades, but I have not started it yet, so that might be my next game that I play. So, I've heard good things about that too, so I'm vaguely excited about that. Sounds good. That sounds good. Always happy to hear about women authors as well, just because, you know, the fantasy and sci-fi hits a little different. Really anything, I'd love to read anything but my own writing. For a bit. I said it in the Discord, and I think everyone here is from the Discord, but like in addition to all that stuff, Russell, Pathfinder Firebrands came out recently, just at the very end of last month, and I wrote in that, and it's fun if there are any Pathfinder fans. But most notably, I think y'all know that last year in a module that I wrote called Burden in Blood Cove, I kind of made a character that was a shout out to Law. It was an Ulfin pirate named Jaw Lonison, which I thought was very funny. And similarly, because I was in pirates for a while on on Pathfinder projects, this book has mention of an NPC named Snackery Barkus, named after our own Zachary, which I think is very funny. If y'all just want to read that part, it's definitely in the Discord, probably in the community channel a while back, but yeah. Tiger's Curse. That sounds very fun. It's kind of wild because I actually haven't worked on a Pathfinder book in a while, because I decided at the start of this year to take a break. Like I turned down a project from them, and I said that I needed to take a creative break, which is unfortunately still kind of true, even though I have like 2 other projects that I'm needing to work on. But the point of where I was going with that is I was pretty prolific last year, so I actually have, you know, books coming out that I contributed to for another year, I think, on the Pathfinder side. The next one is High Helm, which is a dwarf book, which is coming out in a month, in 2 months, something like that. That one's pretty fun too. God, I wish I could talk about what I wrote in that one, because I wrote a couple of things that I think are kind of funny, and I rather enjoyed once I got the idea for them. Yeah, I can't even talk about what it is, so I will put that off for later. But yeah, Tiger's Curse and Broken Earth. Yes. Thank you, Savedman. I will definitely share it in the Discord. Like, One of the good things is like I'm probably not supposed to really post like screenshots of some of the lore because that's the stuff that's not available for free on the internet, but items are, and as well as like all mechanical stuff is free on the internet for Pathfinder, and so hopefully I'll be, like, some of it will be there. I'm rambling now. Is there anything y'all want to talk about before we call it a night? I just like talking to y'all. Ooh, that is cold coffee. I don't know why I sipped that. That is not from recently. Well, if there are no other questions, if you want to keep chatting, feel free to hit me up in the Discord. But otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your week, and until next time, we wish you luck.